Hello friends, welcome back. Now we are going to read the chapter 2 integration of princely states. First of all, I would like to tell you that how I am going and what are we reading. So we are reading the topics which come inside the post-independence consolidation and reorganization within the country, and this is a part of GS paper 1. So we have already studied or read this chapter 1 partition and challenges for independent India, India's tryst with destiny, partition and its aftermath, challenges facing independent India, rehabilitation of refugees. Now we are going to start this integration of princely states. Here we will read this about private process, Junagadh, Jodhpur, Travancore and so on. So we shall start now with the chapter 2. Okay, integration of princely states. So this is India before and after partition map. So you will not be getting, so I'll try to uh, give you this map from the internet if possible. India before and after partition map. Yeah, this may be okay. So you can see here, just have a cursory glance over this. This is Jammu Kashmir, this is Punjab, this is Northwest Frontier Province, this is Balochistan, this is Balochistan states, this is Sindh, this is Rajputana, Ajmer, this is Rajasthan, Gujarat and Central India, this is UP, United Province, this is Rampur, this is Eastern India, this is Hyderabad, this is Odisha, this is Madras, this is Mysore, this is Madras states, this is Kolhapur and Dakkan states. Okay, the Assam, this is Khasi states, this is Sikkim, this is Manipur, this is Tripura, this is Rampur. Okay, I'll just keep it here for my convenience. Now we'll start. Background: British India was divided into two parts. Okay, British India, 11 provinces, along with 4 chief commissioner provinces directly under the British control. Okay, and this princely states, more than 550 small and large states which were ruled by native princes who enjoyed internal autonomy as long as they accepted British paramountcy. Okay. As it was becoming clear that British would leave in some years, many princes began to dream of independence. Their ambitions were fueled by what were fueling their ambitions. British Prime Minister Clement Attlee's statement on 20th February 1947 that British paramountcy over princely states would also lapse, and when British will leave India. Okay, this on 20th February 1947, this Attlee's statement, and Jinnah's declaration in June 1947. He always added fuel to the fire. No, on lapse of British paramountcy, princely states may choose to remain independent. Okay. In this background, Sardar Patel, who was then the Home Minister, was assigned the task of integrating princely states into the Indian Union. It was a two-stage process. First, how? Accession. Second, administration and political integration. Accession of princely states and administration and political integration. Okay, stage 1, accession of princely states. How it was done? Throughout February to April. This Attlee gave the statement in February, and in June Jinnah declaration. So in between, throughout February and April 1947, Patel held a series of meetings with princely rulers and diwans to send their representatives to the Constituent Assembly, okay, constituted to frame the Constitution of India. He wrote to influential diwans such as K. M. Pannikar, Diwan of Bikaner, urging them to ask the rulers for the same. As a result of these efforts, by April 1947, few states such as Bikaner and Baroda sent their representatives to the Constituent Assembly. Their early compromise was a result of patriotism, wisdom, and compulsion. Yeah, of course, patriotism. Few were patriotic, few were wise enough to know that it is not possible. Few did not want to get into this union, but they have to because of several limitations. However, several others, especially in the hinterland, had stayed away. Okay, on 27th June 1947, that is around Jinnah's statement, interim government set up a new states department. Patel assumed additional charge of its department with VP Menon as his secretary. They followed a policy of correct and strict due to their efforts. All states around 550 except Junagadh, Hyderabad and J&K signed the instrument of accession by 15th August 1947. Steps taken by Patel. Reason for accession. What are the regions for accession? There were several regions. How many regions are given here? 3 regions. British government support, instrument of accession and rising popular sentiment. So we'll read in the British government support. The first act was to urge the British government not to support princely states' claim to independence. Thus, the option of independence was not given. Princely states had to join either India or Pakistan. Okay, they were, they succeeded in, telling this British government that in making the British government to, tell the people to tell the princely states not to remain independent. Okay, Mountbatten persuaded the princes that British would no longer protect them and that independence for them was a mirage. Very good. Okay, now second instrument of accession was drafted. Okay, it was drafted. If princely states signed it, then they would accede to Indian Union by only surrendering 3 subjects, that is defense, foreign affairs and communication. It was anyway, when they were into the under the British paramountcy, they were not having the autonomy on these subjects. So it was not a big deal for them that they have to in reality they have to surrender nothing. It was not in any way under them in the British Empire also. These 3 matters out of their jurisdiction even under the British paramountcy. Okay, they are geographically surrounded by India on all sides, so in any way they are dependent on India for administration of these subjects. Government of India is not interfering in their internal matters. Okay, rising popular sentiments. Patel played diplomatically by making them realize that national sentiments have risen in the states and also as seen during Quit India movement. Yeah, so it was a kind of smart play. Thus, princes won't be able to resist for long the demand of people to interfere. Also, under the Congress umbrella was All India State People Movement, and affiliated to it were the Praja Mandals of the state. Okay, Praja Mandals were the that union of the people there who were asking for the democracy. States were aware of not democracy. I mean, who were raising their voice, against the rulers due to various reasons. States were aware of Patel's reputation for firmness and even ruthless. Okay. Stage 2. What was the stage 1? Stage 1 was the accession. They were simply, they acceded normally without any problem. Stage 2, administration and political integration. With accession of states almost complete with the exception of Junagadh, Kashmir and Hyderabad, the next stage was administration and political integration. This was even more difficult than the first phase. It was necessary because there were more than 550 provinces and princely states. It was difficult to manage them, and also it would have led to the problems of coordination. Many were so small that they wouldn't be able to sustain themselves. Sustenance की दिक्कत आ रही थी. In most of the states there was no element of democracy. Okay, there was no popular representation of any kind. The land revenue and the judicial system in these states were archaic. It is still archaic at some places. Land revenue and judicial systems. Believe me, I mean, and people don't know how the modern land revenue system looks like, how the modern judicial system looks like. What can they expect from the judiciary? They are just living as this is their final, okay. Also, the condition of the citizens was bad as they lived in poverty. For achieving the integration of states, Patel used the following strategies. The principal bait चारा डाला गया. Offered was a generous privy purse. पैसे दिए गए, मतलब सैलरी बांध दी गई. In exchange for the territory, Patel offered a privy purse in perpetuity, जिंदगी भर के लिए, annual allowances to the princes. Its value determined by the revenue earned by their respective states. To reassure the princes, a constitutional guarantee of privy purses was given to the princes. Yeah, so it was later retracted also. After some few years, some princes were made governors and Raj Pramukh in the free India. Okay, rulers were also allowed to retain their titles, palaces, and other personal properties. Okay, Patel cleverly used a threat of popular protest from within the states against the princes if they refused to comply. Prajamandals became active once more, and a movement was launched for full democratic government in those states. Okay. He also made them realize about the problems of lack of integration. Okay, and result, the process of integration was completed in 1 year, whereas the British directed partition had exacted such a heavy toll of lives. Integration of princely states was done smoothly with minimum loss of life. See how British, when British went away, there was heavy loss of life was there. No, this uh, communal rights were happened, but integration of princely states were done relatively smoother in a relatively smoother way with minimum loss of life. Three princely states were either these princely states were either integrated with existing neighboring provinces or states, either integrated. Few states were mutually combined to form new provinces. Okay, like Rajputana, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Bharat, Vindhya Bharat, etc. Mysore, Hyderabad, Bhopal, Bilaspur became separate provinces. Okay. Finally, the Constitution of India, which came into force on 26 January 1950, distinguished between the three main types of state and a class of territories. Okay. So four parts were there: Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D territory. So we'll see Part A. These were the former governor provinces of British India, ruled by a governor appointed by the president and elected state legislature. Former governor provinces. What were they? The 9 Part A states were Assam, Bihar, Bombay, Madhya Pradesh, formerly central provinces and Bihar, Madras, Odisha, Punjab, UP, and West Bengal. The Part B were the former princely states. Part A were former governor, is the former princely states. Sorry. Former Part B, these were former princely states or group of princely states. The only practical difference between Part A states and Part B states was that the constitutional head of the Part B states were Raj Pramukh, appointed under the terms of covenants of merger, rather than governor appointed by the central government. Okay, so they were this Part B states were little bit more rigid about their demands. So they were like not appointed by the central government. They were like from the deal. They were made from the deal which happened, that they were made Raj Pramukhs under terms of covenants of merger. So what were these states? Hyderabad, Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, Madhya Bharat, Mysore, Pepsu, Patiala and East Punjab states, Rajasthan, Saurashtra, Travancore and Kochi. Okay. Part C states, these includes both former Chief Commissioner provinces and some princely states. Each was governed by its Chief Commissioner appointed by the President of India. The 10 Part C states were Ajmer, Bhopal, Bilaspur, Kurg, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, Manipur, Tripura, Vindhya Pradesh. Okay. Part D territory was the sole Part D territory was Andaman Nicobar, which were administered by a lieutenant governor appointed by the central government. Okay, we will see what we have read till now. We were reading integration of princely states. We started chapter 2, in which we were like background. There were two kinds of territory: British provinces and princely states. 11 provinces, 4 chief commission provinces in British provinces, and princely states. There are 550 small and large princely states. They were under British paramountcy, as it was becoming clear that the British would leave in some areas. They started dreaming about their independence. Okay, their ambitions were fueled by what Attlee statement on 20th February 1947, that British paramountcy will be over this princely states, and Jinnah Declaration in June 1947. On the lapse of British paramountcy, princely states may choose to remain independent. Okay, in this background, Sardar Patel, who was the Home Minister, was assigned the task of integrating princely states into two stage process: accession and administrative. So how did he integrate it? Accession was completed within 1 year. So he called influential governor Divans like K.M. Panikar of Bikaner, and as a result, so few states like Bikaner, Baroda sent their representative to the Constituent Assembly. Means in principle they accepted the new union. It was because of the feeling of patriotism, wisdom, or compulsion, whatever. So several states in the hinterland stayed away from the Constituent Assembly. But when the state departments was formed in June 1947, and with the Patel as the in charge of the department and VP Menon as secretary, so they both followed a policy of carrot and stick, and around all 550 princely states or provinces joined, and except Junagadh, Hyderabad and J&K. So those 550 signed instrument session by 15th of 1947. Steps taken by Patel for accession. So they seek the British government support. They told British government not to support the independence of the princely states, and they did so also. Okay, instrumentalization. They drafted the instrument of accession, and in which they were told that they were told means princely states were told that they will only be surrendering the defense, foreign affairs, and communication, which was anyway not under their command when the British Parliament was there. So, and the rising, they were given the threat of the popular sentiments, rising popular sentiments. Okay, because they were told that now the people in the princely states or provinces are also asking for the rights, because they are getting enlightened by they got enlightened by the Quit India movement. So all India people movement was mobilized. Prajamandals was mobilized in the states. Okay, and they were also be swayed by this Patel separation of firmness and ruthlessness. Okay, stage two, and how to now since you have integrated the princely state into us into the union, now how to administer. So Junagadh, Kashmir, Hyderabad, they were integrated later, but for the rest of them, the how they did, um, they were told that it necessary. Why necessary? Because it would have led to the problems of coordination. If the 550 provinces were left as it is, like they were there before the independence, so it would have created the problem of coordination, and it will be difficult for them to sustain themselves. So, and there was no element of democracy also. The popular representation may erupt any time. So, and land revenue and judicial system were also very archaic, so it was difficult to extract the land revenue and give, I mean, very difficult to administer the people there. There were plenty small parts were there of in the form of provinces. So for achieving integration of the states, Patel used the following strategies. He gave the bait. He told the rulers of princely states that we will be giving you privy purse, for privy purse for perpetual privy purse, annual allowance. Okay, and some princes were made governors and Raj Pramukh, and their titles were retained, titles, palaces, and they were given the threat of popular protest. Prajamandals, and they also made them realize they means whom? There's Patel and Menon. Uh, he also made them realize about the problem of lack of integration. End result, uh, the princely states were integrated very smoothly, relatively smoothly, as compared to the partition which was done under the watch of British. There were lot of lives were gone there. So these princely states were either integrated or with existing neighboring provinces, either integrated or they mutually combined themselves to form new states like Rajputana, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Bharat, Vindhya Pradesh, and Mysore, Hyderabad, Bhopal, Bilaspur became separate provinces. So they were mainly in 4 types, distribution between 3 main types: Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. So Part D, Andaman Nicobar. Okay, Andaman Nicobar, which was administered by the Lieutenant Governor appointed by the central government. Part A means former governor provinces like Assam, Bihar, Bombay, MP, and so on. The Part B, they were formerly princely states or groups of princely states. Okay, so here the difference in Part A and Part B is like Part A is they were former governor provinces and their governor was appointed by the president. Here there was Raj Pramukh in Part B. They were appointed under the terms of treaty or covenants of merger. Okay, so who were the Part B? Hyderabad, Jammu Kashmir, Madhya Bharat, Mysore, Patiala, or Pepsu, Rajasthan, Saurashtra, Travancore, Kochi. Part C was this included both the former Chief Commissioner provinces and some princely states. Each was governed by the Chief Commissioner appointed President of India. So first is Governor, second is Raj Pramukh, here Chief Commissioner. So Part C: Ajmer, Bhopal, Bilaspur, Coorg, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, Manipur, Tripura, Vindhya Pradesh, etc. Part D, as I said earlier, this by Andaman Nicobar.